Hello everybody, and in this video I'm going to read a passage from this book, The Mayan Calendar and the Transformation of Consciousness, and it's going to be about the universal underworld. If you are not familiar with what the universal underworld is, I recommend to watch some of my older Mayan Calendar videos, and that will give you an idea of what this cycle is all about. And I'm going to be reading from page 215 to page 219. The universal underworld in 2011 is what all of creation has been waiting for. Its very purpose. It is when all things are brought together and all the conflicting ways of being, acting, and thinking will be resolved and unified in a light that makes it possible for everyone to understand everything else and everything all at once. All limiting thoughts will disappear. The ninth underworld may be seen as a gift from God, since it is not only about creating balance, but also the enlightenment given to humankind as an expression of divine grace. This is when we fully understand why the cosmic plan was designed the way it was, and we will overflow with gratitude to the Creator. At the same time, we will recognize our own divinity, for there will be no separation between the divinity and the Creator and our own. Not surprisingly, there are several myths from different parts of the world that talk about 9 worlds. In the Norse tradition, the cosmos was believed to be made up of 9 worlds, and to the Hopi, there are also 9 worlds. In the unification of science and myth that is now taking place, these and a number of others can be recognized as referring to the 9 underworlds of the Mesoamerican tradition. What makes the Mayan calendar tradition unique is only its precision. Paradoxically, as the Mayan calendar system draws to a close, on one hand, time will be experienced as moving faster than ever before, and on the other hand, it is as if it is not moving at all. The enlightened consciousness developed in the universal underworld will be pulsed into humankind in a wave movement of the 13 heavens that cover a period of around 230 days. This reflects a frequency of change of the heavenly energies that by far surpasses anything anyone has ever experienced. Yet, there is every reason to believe that at the same point, time will come to an end, since time is an experience that is predominantly meditated by the left brain hemisphere. In actuality, the experience of time exists only in a world dominated by the imbalance created by duality. As balance between the 2 hemispheres is created, instead of time, we may expect to experience pure being moment by moment. The paradox, of course, is not easily resolved by someone whose mind is still dominated by the dualities generated by the lower underworlds. The ego that was established to serve the dualist mind in navigating their changing waters and to maintain a sense of continuity for the individual in the midst of them simply cannot serve at a high frequency of the universal underworld. The ego is not consistent with the unitary field of light that will then be ruling the world. In a dualist frame of consciousness, the ego was an important tool for survival. In a unitary frame of consciousness, it will jeopardize the survival of the individual. In an underworld dominated by unity and enlightenment, acting and thinking based on a dualist time frame of mind will become impossible. At the frequency of change that will prevail in the universal underworld, the shifts between days and nights taking place every 20 kin, the mind has to be disengaged if it is not to lead to the individual to complete heartbreak or personal collapse. Even with proper preparation, for a person who is well aware of the workings of the cosmic plan, the conflict between the 5,000-year-old dualist mind and the unitary consciousness of the universal underworld can only be successfully resolved in one way, through the excision or slaying of the ego and the ensuing creation of space for the enlightened way of being taken over. This is what Kalki proposes to help us do. Such external help may be sought and welcomed by some, but others may come to attain the enlightened state simply by surrendering to divine grace. The intent and humility of each one of us will determine the outcome, as we will then be endowed not only with a galactic, but also with a non-dualist universal frame of consciousness. These frames will also make it possible for us to see the events of the past from a different perspective. Being fully immersed In the present, without the dualist mind's need for maintaining continuity with the past, the universal underworld will allow for true forgiveness. The book of Revelation refers to this in verse 21:4, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." From the perspective of the universal underworld, the things will have passed away. By the year 2011, the dominance of the dualist mind will wither, and all the conflicts of humanity originating in the lower levels of consciousness will be resolved. From the perspective of the enlightened state, the old order will no longer be real. The advanced technologies developed by the dualist mind will find the place they were almost meant to have, in service to humanity and the living cosmos, not as tools of domination. By then, not only the old monarch rule, but also democracy will be a thing of the past. If everyone lives in unity and harmony with the divine, why elect someone to rule them? All hierarchies will have crumbled. With the end of duality, the dominance of one soul over any other will naturally come to an end. And so, there will be no need for government to steer people through conflicting interests. All human beings will, in a much deeper sense than at present, be recognized as having equal value. Each has her own or his own manifestation of the divine. In the process of climbing to the universal level of consciousness, all limiting thoughts will disappear. Once this has happened, we will be able to fully experience the unity with all that is moment by moment or frame by frame, as it were. Such an experience, frame by frame of consciousness, will allow for total sensual enjoyment in the present moment. Lacking the mind's need to maintain continuity, we will experience complete freedom, and our status as puppets of the divine process of creation will come to an end. No longer will there be an experience of separation between human beings and God. If we do not experience ourselves as God, we will at the very least experience ourselves fully as the manifestations of the divine that we truly are. As a corollary, to wait around to see what will happen in the year 2012 is to totally miss the point. It will simply not be possible not to be enlightened after October of 2011, or at least not from a certain time afterward when the new reality has definitely manifested. With the dualist mind, it will not be possible to be in renaissance with the new unitary divine reality under one power, the Creator. It would thus seem wise for all of us to prepare ourselves beginning today by immersing ourselves in the cosmic flow of time, and in all possible ways seeking to transcend the influence of all dualist underworlds on our thinking, acting, and being. After all, the universal underworld will favor an enlightened state of being of love and joy, and once this has been established, no reversal to duality will be possible. This will mean the return of an apprehension of the living cosmos. The enlightenment that the cycle brings will allow for true, complete healing and forgiveness of the past, which humans will also extend to God, whose relationships with human beings has sometimes been perceived as antagonistic. When the energy of 13 Ahu is reached in all the underworlds, no filters will block our vision of divine light on our communion with the divine. We will come to live in the New Jerusalem, having reached enlightenment after climbing the 9 underworlds and completing the 100 movements of Shiva. After the building of its 9th level has been completed, humankind will be ready to stand on top of the cosmic pyramid. Humanity will be complete, living fully in the present at a higher level of awareness and with the pure enjoyment of living.